Hey everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to Lone Wolf Ham Radio YouTube channel. Regular viewers of the show may remember that I've just bought myself a yaesu FT857D to replace my Zygo X6100. I'm really looking forward to getting out and being able to use 100 watts out in the field, and also looking forward to the benefit of being able to sit and use VHF and UHF and hit my local receivers. One of the problems I've come across is that the yaesu 857 doesn't have a built-in USB comms port. So I've bought myself a DigiRig instead. And this video is just to explain what settings I have for WSJT-X to communicate with the 857. So I'm on my field laptop at the moment. I'm VNC'd onto it from my OBS laptop, and as you can see, I've got a window open, and this window is running an application called NeoFetch, and this is just fetching me the information about the hardware on my laptop, which I thought I'd share with you. So you can see the OS I'm running isn't Windows. I'm running OS Linux Mint 2.1. I'm running 2 CPUs. I'm running a decent bunch of memory, and this amount of memory, this amount of CPU is fine for a small Linux laptop. This is one that I bought off eBay. It's manufactured by a company called Satellite Pro, and it does a good job. So that's enough about specs. We'll move that out of the way. Now, the only way I've managed to get WSJT-X to talk to my 857D using DigiRig is to run an application called FLRig. So I'm going to start that now. Here's the icon on the desktop, and it's just started itself up. Let's minimize the NeoFetch window. There we go, it's gone. Okay, so FLRig, and as you can see, I've already set it up because it knows it's talking to an 857D. So if we come across to config, we can come to setup and then transceiver. We click transceiver, and you can see that configuration has already been populated. Okay, so the radio I've got set up is an 857D, and we are using USB 0. In fact, USB 0 is the only one that's listed. You can see I've also got a GPS installed. Not going to be using that. Silicon Labs is the actual sound card. We're not going to be using that, so we're going to be using USB 0. There we go. Baud rate is matched to the radio, and the baud rate in this case is 38400, and we're going to be having 2 stop bits. Nothing else is going to change. Okay, so we can close this now. And if I just turn over the VFO, we can see that the frequency updates. So we know that we've got cat control to the FT857D. What I'm going to do now is start up WSJT-X. So we're going to click on the icon. I'm just going to give it a few seconds. There we go, WSJT-X. Quick look at the waterfall to make sure the sound card's working. You can see we are receiving RF indicated by the traces here on the waterfall. We'll go back to WSJT-X itself. And you can see in the left hand window we have band activity. We are receiving data. Bottom left hand corner, you can see that we're getting a decent signal. It's not too hot. Okay, it wants to be around 60. Okay, so like I said, we have FLRig running, which is talking to our radio using cat control. If I go to file, and if I go to settings, you can see my information there. And if I go to the radio tab, you can see that the rig I've got selected is FLRig. Okay, nothing else has changed. Nothing in the network server. Okay, nothing under cat control whatsoever. It's all grayed out. And the PTT just says it's cat, and it's quite happily talking to FLRig. We've changed nothing. Get rid of that tooltip. Okay. None of these buttons are selected. We don't need to test the cat or anything. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK. If I just click tune, then it's going to tune up the radio. And then it's going to go off. And we're just going to make sure that we're on frequency. And we are. So I'm running FT4, just so we've got some quick overs. And you can see that the decibel meter's gone red. So I'm just going to tweak it down a little bit on my radio. About there. Okay, so if I click enable to transmit, there you go, we've got our first contact from Foxtrot 1 Papa Golf Quebec. I'll just double click on that so I pick it up. Okay, all good. And we are just running 5 watts today. So I'm just going to leave this as it is. I'm going to click OK. I'll take the next one. I'm just going to check where in the waterfall. So in a nice clear part of the waterfall, the red goalposts are my transmit and the green are my receive. So in a nice clear part of the band. Okay, so that's the third one in the bag. So I'm just going to box this off. Great stuff. So we'll just leave it there. So just to go over the settings then. So in WSJT-X, my settings are quite simply, my radio is on FLRig, nothing else gets touched. In FLRig itself, if we go to config and setup and transceiver, we can see that my settings for the 857D are rig is FT857D, my cat control is on the USB port, and my baud rate is 384000. So let's just go across to the radio and have a look at those settings in the menu on the 857. Okay, so the settings for the 857 itself, the first thing you're going to need to be in is digital mode. You can get into the different modes by pressing this button here, and it will scroll through the different options available. Unlike the more modern radios, for example the FT710, if you have it on USB, it won't transmit. Okay, so it needs to be in digital. There are some other settings inside in the settings menu that we can access by pressing this bottom button here, and we'll keep our finger on it for a few seconds. Okay, and this is going to bring you into the big menu, and I need to just scroll around very quickly. And here we are. So menu number 19 gives us our baud rate, and I've got mine set to 38400. Okay, the next one up is going to give us our option for our cat input, our linear amplifier input, or our tuner, and we need to be on cat. Okay, so those are the only settings I want to look at, so I'm going to hold my finger on here. Brilliant, so we're back in here. Okay, so we're just doing some WSJT-X. You can see the small meter on the left hand side next to where it says SWR. That's displaying my SWR when I'm transmitting, and when I'm receiving, it's showing me how many S units I'm receiving. And we're going to switch over to transmit again. You can see it's dropped down to SWR. Now I can change that meter so it displays how much power I'm setting up. So power at the moment is at 5 watts, and that's indicated by, again, the small meter in the left hand corner. At the moment it's receiving, so we're getting an S9. I'll go back to transmit. and it's showing that we're putting up 5 meters, 5 watts, sorry. So there you go, everyone. I hope that was useful. If you are using the yaesu 857D, I hope that came in handy. I'm going to leave WSJT-X running for a bit and see how I get. So I'm getting someone at, where is that? Let's talk to him. So India Zulu 5 Mike Delta Delta. Let's see if we can get this guy in the bag. Just a few more overs is always good. So looking forwards then, what I want to do is install Grid Tracker. As well as WSJT-X, so I can tell where people are coming from. I also have some login software installed. I've installed Station Master for Linux, which is interesting. I didn't think that Stu did a Linux version, but apparently it does. Also, more interestingly, I'm running Vara HF and WinLink in Linux, so I'll be doing a demonstration of how I set that up. It works really well. You can see at the top I've got the Vara icon, down the bottom I've got the WinLink Express icon. Now bearing in mind I'm running Linux, I had to install an application called Wine to run WinLink and Vara on here. But it does really well. I'm really surprised. I like this new setup. The benefit of using Linux over Windows is it's a lot less processing intensive. It gives you a lot more headroom, and with a low-powered laptop, you're not prone to getting anything locking up or freezing or anything like that. If anyone's interested, I'm using a GPS for my timing, and I installed that alongside the NCP suite of software as well. So I'll do a short video on that. But for now, I'm going to try to talk to India Zulu 5 Milk Delta Delta, and then I'm going to call it a night. So thanks for listening. Thanks for viewing. If you enjoy what I do, then please click like. If you really like it, then click subscribe. But until next time, it's 7 threes from me, and cheers and beers.